Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Jasmine Warren, and I'm just gonna hop right into this video. I do think that I'm a good source of information because I happen to be in the best relationship of my life, but it was not always this way. I have dated some truly horrible guys. And with me being in the relationship that I'm in currently, it makes me think about what is the difference now as opposed to back then of like the types of guys that I was attracting. I did realize there are things that I have done to attract a good man into my life. And these are just tips that I want to share with you. As women, sometimes we need to reprogram ourselves so that we can attract and recognize and be grateful for a good guy when he comes into our life. If you were like me and you were tired of dealing with scrubs and just situationships, then please stay tuned because I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to find a good man. Now, just so you know, because I don't want anyone to be disappointed, this video isn't about going to the right places or dressing a certain way or anything like that. It's about the internal work that you need to do mentally and emotionally and even spiritually to get yourself to a good place where you are meeting good guys and you feel like you deserve a good guy. So the first thing that you need to do for yourself is monitor your self-talk. All of us have a little voice running in the back of our minds, you know, telling us different things, like giving us judgments and opinions and things like that. When you wake up in the morning, do I look in the mirror and criticize my body? Is it just a running list of all the things that I don't like about myself? If that's the case, that is not self-love. And as far as that internal speaking as well, what do you say to yourself about men? Like you're maybe like 24 and you want to get married and you just imagine being like in this wonderful relationship that's so like beautiful and loving, but in the back of your mind, like you're playing it on repeat. Men are dogs, men are dogs. Can't trust men. Men are here to oppress us and hurt us. Men are violent and mean and disrespectful. Your self-talk is that men are terrible. Then how do you think you're going to attract a guy that's wonderful? Because actually in the back of your mind, you don't believe that men are good. And so even something as simple as that, changing those mindsets, changing those beliefs, those thoughts pop into your mind and saying to yourself, actually, no, not all men are violent. No, not all men are disrespectful. No, not all men are dogs. And really, really believing that. So the second thing that you could do to find a good man is to stick to your list. If you're like me and you've read more dating books than really anyone should in a lifetime, then you've probably heard that it's important to have a list of qualities that you're looking for because, I mean, that helps you narrow your search. Say you have a list that goes, I have to be with somebody that is honest. I have to be with someone that is kind. I want to be with someone that is romantic. I want to be with someone that is taller than me, but doesn't have to be the tallest person that's ever lived. A lot of women do not stick to our list. Like you say you want a guy that is responsible and has a good job and honest, but then tall, dark, and handsome walks into the room and he doesn't have a job and he still lives at home, and it's not because there's anything wrong, it's just because he doesn't want to work. He looks good, so you're willing to forget your whole list. So what's going to happen is you're going to waste however much time with this person that doesn't meet your requirements and that you probably have nothing in common with. You can actually totally avoid being in relationships that aren't good for you if you just stick to your list. And I know that it can be difficult and challenging. If it's really important to you, you will do it. It leads me to my third bullet point. How to find a good man? Only look for the good men. Don't try to take someone who is not a good man and turn them into a good man. It's not your job to teach a man how to be a respectful or responsible or a persevering human being. Have your list. You have to look out onto the world and find people that already have the qualities in your list. You can't take someone that's like, okay, he meets my physical requirements, he's super hot, he's not really respectful, but I can change that. He doesn't always follow through with what he says, but I can change that. You can't be in a relationship like that. You'll grow resentful of the person for not being who you want them to be because they are who they are. It's also not their responsibility to change for you. All right, so now we're on to number 4 of finding a good man. This is also a very, I mean, all these steps are important, but this is a very important step because it is to observe your past patterns. What you should do, or what you need to do, is look at the other relationships that you've had and find the common issue that might be keeping you from where you want to be. For example, say I have had a lot of relationships where I wanted something like substantial, want like a boyfriend, but instead of getting that, I find myself always just a little sex puppet. What is the problem that I'm running into? Okay, a very easy observation would be I've met everyone that I've dated in the club or on Tinder, and I wonder why I can't find a boyfriend. If a guy is in a club and he sleeps with you almost immediately, is that someone who is looking for a strong mental, emotional connection and a commitment to you? Probably not. Not because they're a bad person, but just because they're obviously not in that mindset. And then Tinder, it's known as a hookup app. It's not known as a let's have a serious relationship app. And I'm sure there are a few relationships that have come from that, but I'm sure there are more people that are upset that they were sleeping with someone who didn't want something more serious. So if I'm someone who has been, like I was saying before, the sex doll, I want to be the girlfriend. My past pattern that I can stop doing is meeting people in places that are meant for individuals that want to hook up. There's nothing wrong with hooking up. If that's not what you want, then maybe you need to change something that you're doing so that you can get what you want. Their past pattern would be that you like this like super macho, suave kind of guy, and then find that he is a cheater and you're dealing with, you know, cheater after cheater. You might want to observe the past patterns of a cheater. When someone kind of has that like swagger about them, you can just kind of tell, like someone who's a player just has like this way about him, and you need to observe that past pattern, like, my ex was a cheater. This guy seems really similar to him. Let me change this past pattern and look for someone who's maybe a little more humble, just different. Doing the same stuff over and over, like meeting the same type of people, doing the same kind of things that attract the same kind of people. You have to observe these past patterns so that you can change them, and not observe them in a like a self-hating way, but just in like, it's actually a form of self-love to analyze yourself and improve yourself as a woman so that you can stop attracting these craptastic men. This is gonna be the 5th step in finding a good man. If you don't take anything else from this video, this is absolutely the most important piece of advice that I could give you, that I could have given myself when I was a young thing out there running the streets. I almost wish that I could go back into the past and tell myself, girl, don't be desperate. Stop acting thirsty. Being desperate is actually the worst thing that you can be as a woman that is looking for a relationship. 2 main reasons. First being, when you're desperate for a boyfriend, when you're desperate for a husband, when you're desperate to be in love or in a relationship, you prime yourself to be taken advantage of. And that's obviously men and women, but I don't know how to find a good woman. This is about finding a good man. So a desperate woman is easy prey for a guy that just wants to sleep around or do whatever. I mean, even con you out of money, live in your house and not work. If you are desperate, you will put up with anything. And you might not feel like that now, but you just think about your whole mindset is just based on like, I'm so lonely, I'm so lonely, I'm so lonely. And when you are lonely and that flows into desperation, it pulls back some of the worst possible scenarios that you can think of. I know that you hate hearing this, and I wish it was different for you, but you have to be okay being by yourself. The second one is that desperation really crushes that inner voice that tells you that something doesn't make sense. You'll choose to ignore red flags that will probably ultimately end that relationship. You will not hear anything that voice has to say, let alone the people around you that are telling you this person is no good. When you're desperate to be in a relationship, then someone doesn't have to be a good liar, honestly, to deceive you, because you want to believe them. And it make excuses for the person's behavior, and you will accept excuses that you're given. Whereas you go into a relationship with your eyes wide open, you can make better decisions. Him breaking his promises is not okay with me. Obviously that's gonna be a thing that keeps happening, so I'm gone because I'm not desperate to be with someone, right? So I just wanted to say very quickly that if you're being thrown off by the lighting, I had some technical difficulties and I had to refilm certain pieces and parts. The most important thing is that now we're moving into the last step on how to find a good man, and that would be to occupy your time. This isn't an original concept. If you've read dating books or articles, they will encourage women oftentimes to occupy your time while you're looking for a mate. One really good reason to do that is because instead of being holed up in your apartment, drinking wine and watching some sad program on ABC, you're out interacting with other people, so you're not fixated on how lonely you are. Sometimes when you're sad about something, if you go for a walk or do something else, you can distract your mind from those negative feelings. And if you do that on a regular basis, then you can build a habit of feeling better. When you occupy your time, it also helps you to become more content with the life that you already have. If you're out of the house and you're doing things and you're meeting new people, then ideally you won't feel as though you have nothing because you're single. You'll feel as though, well, I have a life, I have friends, I have this hobby that I'm becoming better and better at. I'm going to the gym and I'm seeing myself get in better and better shape. If you made it this far, then congratulations, because you have all the steps. Like I said, you don't have to go out and do it all right now, but I do think that when we want a higher quality life as human beings, we need to change our habits. We need to realize our own personal power. We need to realize the role that we play in the way that our lives turn out. I made this video for you guys because when you know better, at least you can do better. I hope you enjoyed. Comment, like, and subscribe. I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this video. If there's anything that's very crucial that you think that I left out, things that you can do to improve yourself so that you can attract a higher quality man and a good relationship. There are tons and tons and tons of great guys all over the world, and I hope these tips help you find the one that you're looking for. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.